Something is only as real as the people that make it real. You can have an online space that feels entirely real, and conversely, a real space that feels entirely devoid of people. You can have an online space that feels entirely real, and conversely, a real place that feels devoid of life. This is a thing I just wrote after scrolling through YouTube Shorts for a while and wasting my time. I was staring at my phone and I was thinking about the idea of people as computers and using their phones as computers, because there's been some sci-fi or whatever concepts around that. There's also the whole Bitcoin mining thing. But then I thought about networking, and I thought about what if you just pinged a server every 1 second, every 5 seconds. And I was thinking, how could that be valuable? How could that be turned into, how could such a simple thing be turned into value? Because one thing I've learned over the past little while is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Value is only as good as the person that wants the thing. The only reason markets exist in the first place is because of a bunch of people, besides the concept of rigged markets or whatever, people deciding what something is worth. If you go to an auction, that's the purest form of it, I think. But I was then thinking about, after that thought of pinging just a server or whatever with basic information, a game or space where, and I wrote these notes down, a basic game where the purpose is interaction, similar to the million checkboxes. I forgot the guy's name, but someone made a website with 1 million checkboxes, and every time someone clicks with some sort of debouncing and caching and cooldown, it'll change for everyone. So, yeah. Giving people basic ways to interact. The goal is to expose the basics. Excuse me. The goal is to just expose the basics of interaction and community. I was thinking about this and I was like, it'd be really cool to make something like that. But then I realized, like, well, first of all, I'm already working on a thing that I can't talk about. But also, these exist already. Discord, VR chat, Blue Sky, any internet application where you can interact with people. But in my head, I have this just very clear idea of this just very, very, very vivid place. A place with, like, feeling, right? And I'm realizing I can achieve that goal. Right now, I'm realizing I can achieve that goal without actually just making a game. I can just go right now, hop in VR chat, and just try to talk to people, and then, like, make a thing, right? Make worlds, and do that. And I can give that to myself. Also, I could, like, I don't know, make a bunch of money and physically make that space in real life. But either way, it doesn't matter where I make it. The point is that the space exists. And the space really only feels a certain way because of not only the things in it and whatever, or the meta of it, it's the people, right? It's the people that make up that space. The only reason things have feeling or context is because of people. Also, things can lack feeling, like I said, with, you know, a real space that feels devoid of people. I've lived in spaces or been in spaces that did not feel real, places that like no one should be in. But also, I've lived in spaces where I couldn't recognize that it was real because it was just too good to be true. Um, and it wasn't. It was just real, but it felt like it. But the thing that's most frustrating to me is like I'm recording this right now because I don't have anyone else to talk to this with. I don't want to like say this as a oh, I'm smarter than everyone thing, because I'm not. I'm very much not. There are so many people way, way, way smarter than me. But like I feel like I can see things through a lens that other people can't. And that's very frustrating to me because it's very, very hard to find people that relate. And I can tie this back to this whole entire just concept of feeling and also like flow state, for example. I was watching a video recently where it's a guitarist and a drummer in a field and they're like trying to get a take of just like a cool little lick or whatever for a video, I guess. But they showed the behind the scenes of like they're speaking in music. Like, you know, the drummer would do a thing and then the guitarist would reply and they're trying to like figure out what they're trying to do or whatever, but they're speaking in a language that no one except them understands, or at least that only musicians would really understand, right? But it's also something I understand because I know what it's like to talk to someone through that type of language, right? And all that really is being in the zone or locked in, right? However, there's another part of this that people don't really think about very often, and it's who made that space, who defined that space. You can define any space you wish. You are not at the limits of anything. You can make whatever you want. And that's a thing that I still struggle with. Like I keep forgetting that I'm not locked into. I could quit my job today. Obviously, I wouldn't because that job's too valuable. I would not have income, and that's not good. But like that's a choice I can make. I'm not going to make that choice, of course, but like there are any number of paths, and the only path you're going to be on is the one that you choose to be on. Obviously, external factors. There are always counters to your path. But the point of that path or wanting to achieve a certain goal is to work through those problems, right? And it's crazy, and it's very frustrating to me that this is such a basic concept, but no one tells you this concept. No one teaches you this concept. You have to just figure it out, I guess. And that's kind of fucked up. These things are really simple, and it's so easy to get locked in your head about these things. And that's why I've realized that there's no such thing as a creative and there's no such thing as an intellectual or whatever. There's no actual, like, yes, we can put people in boxes that help identify them. But if you put them in a box, that's just restricting them, right? Everyone can do anything. Our brains are just generic. Like they just work a certain way. And like, yeah, sure, there's certain parts of the brain that work in certain ways and there's certain networks in the brain that work a certain way. But like, fundamentally everyone's basically the same, and we can learn the same. Like learning is just a matter of relation, right? Like there is some basic processing, like, you know, when you're very young you learn colors and shapes and basic words, right? But then from then on you're just kind of like piecing things together based on relation and association, right? So like you can just always do that. Like, sure, maybe there's this curve of your brain gets less spongy, but like you can always create new pathways in your brain. And also you can rip up the floorboards and remove old pathways, right? Like addiction to a degree. Like you can work through that and figure it out. Or like certain thought patterns, right? Like I've worked on my anxiety. I'm still nowhere near where I want to be, but like I've been able to identify, well, I'm not successful at it most times. I'm able to identify when my anxiety is just getting the better of me, and I can identify, okay, well, in this moment, I shouldn't take this action. I should actually take the action I want and not let my anxiety impede me. But yeah, there's no real point to this. I just kind of had some thoughts. My problem is my mood swings and my attention. I can't focus a lot of the time, and my mood heavily impacts my ability to do things. Very often I will sit here and just not do anything, and I'll just sit and scroll YouTube Shorts because that is fulfilling. It's giving me the dopamine or whatever. Very often I will do this. I typically try to use it actively, meaning like I have a purpose of doing it. I'm not just going to hit it and rip it or whatever. Like I'm not going to just do it. But I've been doing it every night. I've been trying to justify it at least. Like so far, I haven't done it tonight, which is actually a big achievement, I guess. I won't stop using it because it's too enjoyable, and I use it as a tool sometimes to be creative and stuff. But that's also a thing, right? Like you get stuck in these patterns where you need fulfillment because you are stressed about something. And that's not the solution, really. That's not going to solve the problem. But it's also, I feel like it's so unfair to just say that it's just it's such a simple thing. Like, just stop doing it, right? You can't. Like, your brain has patterns, and those patterns don't just vanish. You have to actively work away from them. Like, if you think about those funny little neural network like diagrams that you see when someone like makes an AI for a game, right? To like play the game, you see it like activating and firing the neurons, right? They have weights associated to them, and there's certain connections, and they have strength. They have a certain weight to them. They have a physical connection that is, at least in the brain, there's a physical connection that has a certain strength. And when your brain goes through those logic gates to get to the answer, like when you're speaking, your brain, you're just so good at talking that it's automatic, right? And that's how flow state kind of, right? To a degree also, but that's separate. Anyway, you can slowly rewrite it. It's not that you're trying to stop the pattern. This is what I've learned through CBT is you're not stopping it. You're not trying to cut it off. You're trying to reroute it by like, you notice it, you notice the chain, and then you find that part of it's like debugging, I guess. If you're debugging code, you find that piece of the code that's not doing what you want, and you rewrite the logic. Literal identical comparison. You are going in your neural network, and you're that sounds so horrible to say. You're going in your neural network, and you're trying to carve a new path like a river, right? And you're identifying a habit or a pattern, and you're trying to rewrite it. It's okay to give yourself room to fail, right? Like with anything, like you can't be perfect all the time. And these are things I should tell myself more. I don't do this. But you won't do it first try. You're not going to get it. Like it takes whatever many days to form a habit or whatever. I think that's also just a generic way to say like that's how long it takes neural networks to change or pathways to kind of update, right? And you can't change because you tell yourself the thing you do is bad or wrong. You can only change if you change the value associated with it. The value of ordering DoorDash when I really shouldn't because I don't have a lot of money and I should be saving that money is very high because it's very valuable and very convenient for me. It's also very enjoyable. I just enjoy like ordering 7-Eleven. It's horrible food for me, but I love it. It tastes so good. Taquitos are great. These brisk are really good. They're like $2. They're more valuable than almost in Arizona. Kind of crazy. And also, they only have 48 grams of sugar for the whole bottle. That's less than Arizona per volume. And I thought Arizona was already healthier because Mountain Dew is like 70 grams per 12 fluid ounce. Anyway, yeah, so like, this is just another great example of I have some great ideas and thoughts, but this is the only way I can get them out. I can only talk them out because I can't focus long enough to work on them. I can sometimes. Like, I was about ready to make a whole ass, like, very detailed, very dramatic, very deep and interesting story or video about this concept and just give it a little bit more weight and emotional impact. That's a lot of work. That requires lots of planning, lots of execution, of which I just cannot do right now, because not only because I have work, but I also want to relax when I'm not working sometimes. And also, I have other commitments that I really should be paying attention to. And I know that I'm going to get tired of it within like 3 days, which is unfortunate. I wish I didn't do that. I'm trying to figure out how to solve that. I'm going to talk to a therapist again. But when my mood swings are not going crazy, I appreciate life. I appreciate people a lot. I still don't know why I'm me. I don't know why I'm in this body. But that alone, that question drives me every day, because it's like, why? I want to figure that out. And generally the answer is to just experience it, which I'm relatively content with, but also like it kind of sometimes pushes me further, like, what else can I do? What else can I see? And I have huge aspirations for myself. Like I want to achieve enough that I can give back to the people that have helped me. And I want to push it further. Like I want, like, if I could just drop a few $100,000 to someone to help them start a thing or keep a thing alive or grow a thing, like that's so cool, right? But how do I get that value? How do I achieve that level? How do I get to that level where I'm making enough money that I can give away to others in significant amounts that change their lives? And I don't have the answer to that. And what I've kept being told is like, you just got to follow the path of life and deal with it and just focus on your goal and work towards it. But like, I just want to be there already. I should be there already, right? Anyway, I'm ranting at this point. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to emphasize that like the only reason I have 4,771 hours in VR chat, which is 3 times more than my previously most played game, Counter-Strike, is because it's not even a game, it's a space. It's a network, it's a dimension where anyone can create anything. And it sounds like I'm shilling for VR chat. Not really shilling for VR chat, I'm shilling for the concept. VR chat doesn't have to be the one to make this work. There are other places like Resonate and Chill Out, Guess, Meta Horizons, that kind of achieve that. But yeah, like, while I do recognize a lot of times I'm just wearing a VR headset, like to me that space is real. That space is so much more accessible to me than the real life. And I want to like push out more and just do more stuff in real life. I gotta be honest, like this is what I do every day. I come home and I just sit here and sit at my computer and do, like, that's it. Which sounds sad, and it is a little bit sad, but also like I'm pretty content. Like I have friends. I feel like I have friends, like real friends. I talk with people. I, you know, but yeah, I don't know. I've been realizing that I want to be more vulnerable. I want to open myself up more to people. It's hard to do that sometimes because people just aren't open to that. Also, you just might not vibe in that way with certain people. Vibrations have been a very good system for me. I used to scoff at the idea of vibes, and I thought the word was cringe, but holy shit, that's my religion. using vibes as a guide, like, oh, the vibe isn't really, doesn't feel right now. Let's adjust it, right? Also, vibes can be wrong. Like your perception of a vibe could be wrong. You may not know the exact vibe unless you're familiar with the space. But yeah, like all I know is that I think my primary goal should be that I should just focus on maintaining or achieving a certain vibe. I do aspire to like at least create a small community of people that I can hang out with and like do stuff with or do things, create things. I don't know. I've been trying to achieve more structure, but organization isn't exactly my best strong suit. If you saw my room right now, you would think I'm not very good at it. But yeah, I don't know. Like for example, so here's the book I wrote. That's not really a book. But these are notes I wrote in this Oracle book with the Evangelion sticker. I put the sticker on. This is too slow for my brain. I also tried to dictate into Obsidian. That's too slow and clunky because it like stops listening after a certain point and like it's not. It doesn't. It like writes it out and then it sends it to their server and then the server does some like AI processing or some shit and then it sends the result back. It's just not really efficient and it can get the words wrong. That's why video vlogging has been my go-to because it's the quickest, easiest way to get the idea out. It's horribly ineffective at translating ideas unless someone really understands what I'm talking about. I don't, and again, like I could spend time on graphs or lists and visuals, but that's extra time that I just can't mentally deal with. So what is this video really? First of all, it's just us appreciating that VRChat has like 120,000 CCUs every day now, which is insane. And that's not total players, that's just active players at any point. So they probably have millions of players. That's a lot of people in a fucking computer. This little box has millions of people in it because it's connected through the internet. I feel like maybe a lot of us watched Ready Player One. Maybe we watched Sword Art Online, like me, and we kind of immediately, because you know when you're young teenager, you're typically dissociated to a degree, or maybe that's not normal. Or you're like looking escapism, right, from whatever current, like you know, emo kid, right? Like that's why it's a you know whatever phase, or whatever. For a lot of people usually. But like, see, I just forgot. I forgot what I was talking about. I'm not even high right now. But yeah, like the vibe, the space. Just appreciating that. And also I guess venting a little bit because it's like I have so much I want to do and I know I can do. I just can't sit down long enough to finish it. And also like not all the ideas are great ideas. Some of them are not really worth pursuing. Some of them are kind of like, you know, that'd be great. Or like maybe an idea in itself isn't perfect, but parts of the idea or where the idea originates from is also a good idea. Like how I mentioned, like I wanted to make a game about on the mobile phone or whatever, about just pinging a server or whatever, and like creating a space for that when they already exist. And really, I'm just trying to appreciate the fact that that happens. And there's other ways I can achieve that goal without exactly doing the whole entire software engineering project. But yeah, what do I say? How do I be vulnerable right now? First of all, I'm uncomfortable with the fact that you can see my face. I'm not even, I'm wearing my Kirby pajamas. I probably sounded insane, But like, I appreciate life a lot. I appreciate how thinking works. I appreciate flow state. Like hitting flow state, like if I typically, or like I've gotten good enough at work that I can flow state during work, which is so much fun. I just kind of go on autopilot and the thing does the thing. Sometimes with music, I used to get that. I would also have epiphanies with music, which was very fun. I still have epiphanies with some ideas. Sim racing is a big one for me. Like I can just get locked in and kind of do it. I'm not very good at it, but like I'm okay at it. I can race clean usually. And I can put down okay times. But also like drifting too, like that's a huge fucking like that's probably even higher than just normal racing for me because like feeling the car, doing the thing. The fact that I can just do sick drifts in the snow with my open differential vehicle because I'm just done so much sim drifting and I feel confident in just the drifting on the street and that I'm not going to crash because I know my limit is so much fun. Yeah, I don't know. There's a bigger concept here that I hope I can relay. Very simply is that you can learn anything, you can do anything you want. Don't put yourself in a box. Achieve your dreams or something. I wish I can achieve mine. I'm kind of working there. I'm way farther than I used to be, and I feel like I'm still the most happy I've ever been. But like, money is so useful. Money reduces time, and money's great. I've been trying to find a way to get more money, but it's kind of hard because like all the things I think I can do to get money require a lot of time and basically gambling because I would spend a lot of time doing some things. But I'm realizing that the only answer is to just follow the natural flow of things. Like if I want to do a thing in the moment, just do the thing in the moment. Stop thinking about it. Literally last night, I spent an hour and a half with my phone adding things to a cart and removing it because I was so anxious about spending money because I'm over my budget. I have money, but I'm over my budget. I'm over my allowed like thing. And it was like an impulsive thing, but also like when I got it and I ate it, it made me so happy. I was really enjoying it. It just the fact that I'm an adult now and I can like buy things for myself and no one can tell me it's wrong. Wow. Still kind of enjoying that part, that freedom. But yeah, money would be great. But yeah, like it's just like I know that if I just kind of I need to be more impulsive, controlled impulsiveness, I guess would be a way to describe it. I don't know, man. Also, like, no, I won't talk about that now. That's no. I don't know. I just like, I wish I had more people to share things with. I wish I knew more people personally that like I can connect with on a deeper level. I also wish that my brain could stop doing this thing where like I'm talking with someone face to face, and then 1 minute later, I feel like they're gonna punch me, and I don't want to look in their eyes. Even though they're not gonna do that. That'd be great. I also feel like I'm going insane a lot of the time. I also feel like sometimes people put on facades around me and they don't actually mean what they say or do. Sometimes I do feel like they do, but also like I don't know. My brain attacks me a lot. It's frustrating. Anyway, I'm gonna go watch a movie now and get really high. If you've gotten this far in the video, I appreciate you. Genuinely. Not a lot of people like to talk about or watch a person randomly ramble about their inner demons and thoughts. I just like I want to emphasize that like the life you have right now is cool. The fact that you are in your body, like think about your body right now The fact that you're in that body, how cool is that, right? And that you get to experience these things, especially things that like you chose to do. You get to like make a decision and then experience the thing, and it provides fulfillment. That's really cool. If you're struggling right now, I don't want to just generically say that everything's going to be okay, because it's not. What is going to happen is that you have control to decide how you handle that. You might not be able to handle that, and that's okay, because you can learn how to handle it. You can learn how to overcome it. I'm not trying to say that generically. Like, I know these things because I've done them. I was unemployed for 4 years, and now I'm employed again because I took a chance. And that was the best chance I ever took, because I love a lot of, like, basically everyone at my job. It's a fulfilling job. It pays decently. Couldn't be happier with that. And I'm realizing now a lot of the complaints I have are just silly non things, and I kind of move past them, move on, next thing. But yeah, appreciate what you have. Not everyone's going to be open to helping you because they have their own shit going on, but reach out. Like hell, like I called a crisis hotline not too long ago, not because I was suicidal or anything, because like I was just really high and I was not grounded at all. So I chatted with someone for a few minutes on the phone, and I was fine after that. So like, but I was really anxious about calling because I felt like I was going to waste resources, right? Like I don't want to call someone over the stupid thing that I caused myself. Like it's self and inflicted psychological instability, I guess, is what you could call it. So like, why would anyone help me with that, right? But the person I talked to was super nice. They were chill. They helped me ground myself a little bit. Obviously, they have like a time limit, I guess. They can only do like 5 or 10 minutes. I think it's like 10 minutes or something, maybe 15. But they were super nice. They helped me relax, and I, rambling. I can't end this right now because like I can't express how much I want things. There are so many things I so strongly want, but I can't stay interested in them long enough, have enough focus, or not feel anxiety about them to actually push through. It's so hard for me to finish a project that's more than like a few days long. That's why I used to be a huge procrastinator. I would wait until the last day so that way I can use the lateness as a motivator, which is not a good way to live. You should do the thing because you're interested in the thing. And if you feel like it's something that you don't like doing, try to justify it with like what it will give you in the long run, because it might actually be valuable to you. Like if you just do these things now, it will help you later, even though it sucks right now to do. And I maybe this is a really crazy thing to say, but I actually like when I'm sad. I like when I'm angry. I like when I'm depressed. I like when I'm all the things, right? Because that's the experience of life. I get to, I don't want to use the word blessed because I'm not very religious, but like, what an incredible, like, you get to experience emotions. How cool is that? That you can like feel a thing. You can feel happy, and yes, you can feel sad, but then you can feel happy again. Like you can't have one without the other, right? Yin yang or whatever. I don't know. I feel like life is really simple and we always overcomplicate it. I overcomplicate it myself way too much. I kind of just don't sit down. I don't give, but like, I'm so worried about just wasting time on something that I don't spend the time doing things. I just preemptively stop myself from doing them. And that's a really bad thing because then like, I was supposed to go to an event tonight and meet someone and like listen to their music, but I didn't because I was just kind of anxious about it. And I lost out on the opportunity, which is sad. But I know for next time, just stop being a bitch and go. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you for listening to A Crazy Person's Ramblings. Hopefully for some of you that resonated in a certain way. I don't know. Life is very fun, but it's also very frustrating sometimes. That's all. Anyway, before I indulge more information, yes, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, that's crazy. Welcome to the end of the video. Yeah. This is the closest to the real me you'll ever see. And I hope you appreciate that. I know my boundaries are a little bit too loose sometimes, but I don't know. I like thinking about the meta of things a lot. Maybe a little too much, but I don't know. Everything is interesting to me all the time. And I wish more people could find interest in the same things. One of my favorite things is being able to show someone how something works or teach someone something and see them get it. And then I can speak to them in that language. Like, you are imparting knowledge on someone, and then they can eventually talk to you in a language that is not a language they understood before. And I don't mean literal language. I was referring back to like the, musicians talking in music, right? It's a special thing, and I wish more people could experience that. It's one of a kind, really. And I wish I had more people like that I could speak on that level with. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. Made it this far. Yeah. Have a good rest of your day or night. Reach out to people, even if not for help, just to be with them. Yeah.